turn it over to you.
All right, good morning, everybody. Fired up, honored to be here. Big shout out to Jim for putting it all together. Honored to be in business with you and be impacted by you. Excited to talk and share with everybody, all the hundreds of folks on here today. So what I'm going to go through is something that kind of helped me along the journey to actually just kind of see the scope of this thing, right? So it's like I guess put um, put a 10 in the chat if you are within the scope of your first year, right? So put a 10 in the chat there, just to kind of know. All right, there's a lot of you guys. Now put 100 in the chat if you guys are striving for promotion. And this should, I would think, be everybody, but striving for promotion, and you want a little bit of kind of like help and clarity as to what does it all mean, right? Why is it important to get your promotions? Like, what does it mean to the economics? So I grew up in an interesting household. I'll give you guys a little piece of me. My dad is an accountant and very analytical, numbers oriented, all that kind of stuff. Kind of dry, but also all around like brilliant guy, right? But it's very like if the maths, it makes sense. If it doesn't, it doesn't. My mom is like 1 million foot view visionary, like no details matter actually whatsoever. It's like her literally, she's 80 years old. If you saw her, you'd be like, she looks like she's like 50. It's crazy. But she's like, we'll make it happen. So I'm like, oh, all right. So I have crazy analytics. Sometimes call that, whatever you want to call it. Some people call it like the wet blanket and all that kind of stuff. But then I also have, supreme, like almost, faulty optimism as my two influences. So I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm pretty blessed. So I feel like I'd lend to more optimistic, but I do try to back that up with actual action and reality of numbers and metrics. So it was important to me when I first saw this business. I said, self, here's self. You're in a valley of life. You are broke, working three jobs, recovering from a business failure, no money, no credit, and you are a zero at home and at work. All right, self, what do you do? Right? And my analytical self said, you suck. You are doomed. You are never going to get out of this. And I was like, oh, that's not good. I don't like that one. And then my other kind of side, my other self was like, hey, man, no one else is going to make this happen for you. So if you want to keep the family, you want to keep yourself, moving forward, put food on the table, all that stuff. You have to find something that is massive, and has lots of opportunity for you, not just somebody else, and also that's real. And I was like, okay. So I searched and I tried out a lot of things, and a lot of things didn't work so good. I would say this. I tried one other thing in insurance before I came here. I hated it. Like it was selling supplemental health to businesses door to door, like cold, knocking on business doors. So if any of you guys have ever done door knocking, I have lots of respect for you. That is what we call exposure therapy. So if you have a fear of rejection, go do that and you will get over that fear of rejection so fast because you will get a lot of rejection. Like you'll just be numb and neutral to it. So I encourage that. So for those of you guys that are afraid to pick up the phone, go door knock. You'd be surprised how easy it is to pick up the phone. You'd be like, dang, it made my life easy. I also believe too, I wish this was mine. I stole this from Tony Robbins. It's like you take and you almost minimize and laugh on the things of the problems that you have. And I use a little bit of sarcasm to do so. But all of that brings me to a place where I'm going to go through. I'm going to share with you guys something that actually I created after I got into this business a little bit and started to understand the comp plan. It's a basic income calculator. Okay. And I just want to show you it's not magic, it's just math, right? And then when you do that, you actually get to see how you can get better. So I'm going to go through that. What is a income target that you guys have for this year? So everybody put your numbers in the chat. Now, if you don't have a number, I'm going to tell you something. Some would say it's tough to hit a target you don't see. I would say it's damn near impossible to hit a real target that you don't see. So you have to come up with a number. And we see a varying range, right? It's amazing. No one has a number under 100,000 on here. I love that. That is a phenomenal. However, um, I also have this discussion when I ask, we do game plan sessions after people do their preliminary stuff, and I say, "What's your income goal?" And I have people that tell me no less than 20,000 a month, and I'm like, "Whoa, that's phenomenal! Are you accustomed to earning that?" And they go, "Hell no, I have never earned that ever." And I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "Well, what's the biggest year you've ever had?" And some people are like, 25,000. I'm like, okay, so you're literally going to take what you've done in a year, in your best year ever, and now your expectation is to earn that in a month, right? Now, and it's just misaligned expectations is where people get really, really upset, right? So just because you get an insurance license, you get from home to work from home doesn't mean you're retired, right? You can retire. Like a lot of people could retire right now off of the passive income that's several of the leaders that you guys have exposure to would earn. But it's getting to a place where your expectations are in line with your actions, but they're also in line with you understanding what goes into do those things. So we're going to take some basic things, right? All right, leaders out there, builders, what is the most common number you hear that people want to earn in a year? It's a very common number. There you go. It's 100,000. Everyone says that, right? Because it's like they think that that's like, and most people actually don't even know. They think 10,000 a month equals 100,000. They don't know that there's 12 months in a year, and that doesn't make sense, right? But because it's actually $8,333.33 continually, right? That's what it is. So, but 100,000. So we're gonna work on that one for y'all. All right, I'm gonna show you guys. All right, can we all see my screen? Can we see this? Okay. There's basic numbers to put in what your desired income is, what your contract level is, and then what your issue paid is. Those are important, right? Issue paid is mission critical. I have seen folks that have terrible issue paid and they doom themselves to just work harder and harder in this business as opposed to fixing their sale. It's a sales issue. Issue paid is a sales issue. That's all it is. So I want you guys to write that down. Issue paid, bad issue paid is a sales issue, right? All issues are fixable. All skills are basically acquirable in this industry. So we'll take 100,000. 100,000. Okay. So if you guys look at it from a personal production side, 100% personal production, that is you earning $8,333 a month. Okay. But what do you really have to earn here to earn 100,000? I want you guys to think of it like this and write this down. It's your advanced income, right? Your carrier advances, right? That's what you get deposited on a monthly basis, not your total counting the back end money. You can't spend the back end money. Now, you also have to take into consideration too, what's your cost of business? What does it cost you to stay in business, right? So, in terms of costing you to stay in business, I always say a good factor for that is 25%. So I don't factor in back end money ever. It's magic. It just shows up. If you're brand new in an 80% contract, your back end money's never gonna it's not there until it's there. This business is hard at first, right? It's not impossible. It's hard because it weeds out the quitters. That's why by design. So 100,000, 80% contract with a 70% issue paid. So if you look over here, good issue paid is 80 and above. Average is about 65. Poor is anything like 50% or less, and really almost 65 and less is poor, right? Nobody likes to be poor. Nobody likes to be red. Nobody likes to be red on any numbers other than like red Ferrari or whatever it is, like not red, like you don't want to write red, right? So if you look at it, if you're in an 80% contract, 70% issue paid,
Yeah.
you submit $19,841.27 per month for you to earn net 100,000. Okay. So, and people go, what does that mean? Does that mean I really have to do that? Yeah, that's for you. That's writing basically 5,000 a week. That's why the recipe for making six figures in this business is 5,000 a week. Now, if you're doing that, what would happen? You wouldn't be in an 80% contract anymore. Where would you fall? From the leaders out there, where do you think that you'd actually fall? Because over time, you get your promotions, right? If you're writing 20,000 a month, placing, call it 15 a month, what contract does that put you at? Who knows? Let me look in the old chat here, see if anybody's got any ideas. About 95 or 100, something in that range, right? So we'll say 95 conservatively. You're almost at 100. Now, look at that. Oh my God, you actually can do less to make the same income. It's pretty wild. And that's why it's so important to get your promotions. There's only $16,708 in submitted business, a little over $4,000 a week. That gets you there. But you have to get there first. You have to get that contract raised first. Now, let's say you have great issue paid. Okay, it's even less. Let's say you have terrible issue paid, 50%. Oh my God, now you got to write more. So you guys see where it's like all these metrics start to come into place, right? Now let's think about it too. You want to make 100,000 and you want to split, right? You're going to split 50-50 split production and building. We'll say your average override or your spread. If you're at 95% contract, you might be at about a 10% if you're actively building. So you look at it and you go, okay, well, for me to get my 50-50 on my $100,000 income, I personally have to write at least 12,000 if I'm at a 95% contract, and we'll say I'm back up to reality, 70% issue paid. So I have to write at least this, right, to make my 4,100 or so in advanced commissions. So I got to write that $8,354.22. My team has to submit, if I only have a 10% spread, it's got to submit 80,000. Okay. So you're like, okay. I got to get a higher spread. How do you get a higher spread? What do you got to do to get a higher spread? You got to get promoted, right? Okay. So you're getting up there. Now you're like, all right, well, say I'm up at agency owner. Because if my team's doing that, 79,000 a month, I'm definitely an agency owner at that point, right? So, but look, you notice my team volume didn't change because it's based on my spread. But now I'm an agency owner, so we'll say my spread is 15%. Now it goes down, right? That's about agency owner numbers. That's why you see that contract making sense right there. And so I want you guys to look at it and then you go, oh, okay, well, how do I make higher level income, right? Or hey, I just want to be a builder. This is why just being a builder with minimal spread doesn't work at first, right? You have to do some personal production to pay your bills. Now, if you live in a tent and you have no electric bill and no car bill and you hunt in the forest and you gather berries for yourself and others and you have very, very low overhead, but you do have a cell phone bill. I would assume you have to have that, right? And some internet. So you have very, very low overhead and you just want to off of just your team, right? 15% spread, just your team submitting about 105,000 a month. Okay. That's going to put you at a place where you're making six figures passively, 105,000 a month on a 15% spread. Okay. That's your passive income. Now, say you want to make more income. You want to make 200,000 a year, right? You look at the numbers, they all just start to math. And then you'll get and this is why too, especially when you're brand new, is to one, track your numbers, two, work with your agency owner when they get things like snapshot. When you hear snapshot comes out at the end of the month, that's what your team issue paid is. You get to see the metrics, you get to see what's going on. It's why it's important to do, what Jim has us all doing in terms of the accountability call, tracking your numbers. There's lead indicators, things that happen beforehand, lag indicators, things that happen after. That's like, what happened, right? That's a lot of times what people say. They're like, what happened? And then they go, whose fault is this, right? It's always my fault, right? My stuff is always my fault. Your stuff is always your fault. That sucks, but that's reality. And so if you guys notice too, again, it's just math, right? So Jim, let's say Jim is like, I want to make $1 million, right? Is that $1 million? I can't see. When you get old, your eyes go. All right, so $1 million, right? We'll say Jim's at a 130. And I'm not factoring in equity bonuses and all that other kind of stuff. We'll say his team issue paid's at a 70. We'll say his average spread is at a 30%, right? And he looks at it and he's like, okay, well, if I'm at an average of 30% spread, this is what my team has to submit on a monthly basis for me to make passively that. And this is what my team has to issue pay on average to make that. It's passive $1 million income. It's not a massive number, y'all. Right? I mean, it's a big number when you're starting at zero, but once you look at it from like leaderboards, tomorrow you'll see the semis. Make sure you guys jump on there and you see what people did on an annual basis. That's why you see like Marshall Whalen's smile is like this big because he can't stop this business. Like if he threw his phone in the ocean, right? And any of the bodies of water that he is surrounded by at all times, if he threw his phone in those things, it would just keep on going. right? And so it's because he has momentum and he has like leaders that see these kind of things and the momentum, and they understand like, okay, well, what happens if my team issue paid is higher? Well, I can submit less. What happens if my team issue paid is miserable? Well, we got to do a lot more. Jim's $1 million went from him team having to submit 500,000 almost 750 just because his issue paid was down. And it takes the awareness of all of us to get to a place where we're like, oh, okay, I start to understand the actual metrics of the business. And this is very basic, very rudimentary. This is real though. Like, and it works at every level. So if you go, I want to make 50,000, right? You're just starting out because some of these numbers are intimidating at first. You're starting at that 80% contract and you're living at that, well, I'm 50% issue paid. Well, it's like you got to some heavy sledding at first to get you to that arena, to get you to that 85. And if you're doing that, well, you're probably at about a 90. So now all of a sudden, then you're like, oh, my issue paid is getting better. I got it up to 75%. You see, like this business gets better the more you understand these things, and the more you live in the land of acquiring the skill sets. So this is basically just like, I mean, this is as rudimentary as it gets, but this gave me peace because this was easy for me to look at a metric and be like, okay, how do I get better at that thing? Right? It's most people put their head in the sand and then they go, oh no, I don't know what happened. I wish this was better. Yeah, you can't wish it was better. You just have to wish you were better so it'd be easier and then you make yourself better. So that's what I got for today. I know that was brief and 2 minutes over, but hopefully.
Shawn, can you assume the number one question that's being asked in the comments right now?
I know I just saw it because I couldn't really do the comments and do the thing at the same time. So what can I have that? Can I have
Yeah,
that?
that everyone wants a copy of this
Give me a
spreadsheet. What
second.
are the
I'll make a
chances we
copy.
can
So
make
here's the
make
thing.
that happen?
I'll make a copy and then I'll put it in, and then you have to make a copy because somebody's going to go in and they're going to jack up all the formulas. So you got to be real quick on the draw with whatever I share on the copy side. Hang on one second.
Make you're gonna do it right now?
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
Oh,
give me,
sweet.
give me
Only
two.
All right.
let people be a viewer. Otherwise, the first person's going to go in and start putting their numbers in.
Well, but if you do, it's the formula. Like you still won't be able to enter it in at your own thing. It's but if you're yeah, because I don't know if you're a viewer, if you make a copy, if then it'll still translate over. So I'm gonna make a thing, and if it goes disastrously awry, just let me know, and I'll do it again. I'll
I
send it.
mean, guys, we can do hard things, right? Like just hit make a copy before you start just taking ownership and plugging your numbers in. That's the rule. I promise someone is gonna break the rule. I know it, Fred. I know for a fact someone is gonna mess this up.
I just got to be quick. This is why it's fortune favors the fast, I guess. Maybe. There it is.
All right, it's in the comments, guys.
And
Shawn,
then
this was awesome, man. I love the clarity this brings. So many. If you take a minute, just scroll these comments before you jump to a breakout. And a lot of people really impacted by having the visual to allow them to cast vision in an analytical way. It's really, really great.
cool. Yeah, yeah. Thanks, y'all. And I can too at some point as you guys go and try this out or whatever. Hit me up, but also too, I can come back and do some, like kind of talking through to it. So
You're
only edit the
welcome.
yellow fields. Don't edit anything else when you make your copy.
You're welcome to come back anytime, brother. We love having you here. All right, breakout rooms are open. Find your AO, find your group. Feel free to hang here with me and Nikki. I'm going to share my screen and start this conversation. All right, where are you at, Nikki?
I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah, you are. I want to start with your people. What we got going on over here? Megan got a couple apps in over the weekend. I love that Weekend Warrior stuff.
It was so good. So we chatted for a minute, and by a minute, I mean 42 of them on Sunday because the first one was a fumble and pass on a Saturday, and she was feeling really down. And then on Sunday, she wrote an LGA. And you know, when they switched over from LGA to Banner, that now when you accept the offer, you can't choose a payment date. So as soon as you put in your payment, it force processes. And the lady was like,
Yeah, the old SBLI move.
yeah. So the lady was like, I don't want this, cancel the policy. So Megan had two appointments that went very south very quick, and she called me swirling the drain.
Yeah.
And this is why it's so important, you guys, that you text your mentor, like when things are going right and wrong, not just when they're going right or just when they're going wrong. So we chatted. She was able to keep the Banner sale and hold her posture there. And then we came up with a game plan for the guy the day before. And that was another $2,700 app. So she came out with two huge wins just by kind of taking a breather, posturing and then going back at it. But like, I was really proud of her because that was really awesome. But I guess my message to anybody listening is, if you're not leveraging the people that brought you into this business to help you get better, what are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? There's a reason why we're good at this, and you're not yet, but you're going to be. But you have to bring it and raise your hand if that makes any sense. So I'll get off my little soapbox there. She made more.
No, I hang on though, because I love that soapbox. I talk a lot about building a business big enough that one thing can't derail.
Mhm.
And it's when we are new, we're looking at percentages, right? This is true in all of life. Like when your kid melts down in Target, it's not only because they don't have a fully formed prefrontal cortex and they lack emotional regulation. It's that today is a huge percentage of their entire life. This is a big part. They've only been consciously aware from probably the time they were 3 or 4. One day is a big deal to them. We can look back over days and days and days and know that this ain't that bad. It's the same thing in this business. When you're brand new and you get a ghosted appointment or an appointment derails, that's a big percentage of the total number of appointments you've ever run. So you're looking at it and you're like, 50% of these appointments suck. Yes, 1 out of 2 is 50%, but we're really at small sample sizes. When you allow yourself the context to grow this, it gets smaller and smaller. So you don't, part of emotional regulation is just getting enough reps to have enough context to put things in the place they belong and not overreact to them.
100%.
So I love that Megan got to learn that lesson.
Hey, Jim. Hey, everybody. Hi. Margaret,
Hi.
can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we got you.
Hey, that's like a perfect example of this morning. I'm looking to be full-time and life happens, but the having quality appointments are really important, but kind of the same thing. Like I have people, I'm right on the border of St. Louis and Illinois. So I have warm leads in Illinois and I am passing it on to people that are licensed in Illinois. So like my approach to it is it does take a village and you don't take those hits hard, even if you lose the commission, pass them on, pay them forward to other people, like look for agents that are either more versed in it or like especially I'm new. But that can
Marguerite, can I
actually
stop you? Oh my gosh, can I stop you? Because my soul just departed my body at something you said. You have people coming to you for help in Illinois, and you're sending the lead to somebody licensed in
Yeah,
Illinois rather than picking up a license in that state. Did I hear that correctly?
absolutely. Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Because at the end of the day, we have the opportunity to make a lot of money, but the intention for all, like, at least the reason I got into it is from genuine care. We want to make
Right. No,
sure that,
but why wouldn't you genuinely care to the person that came to you for help? Why wouldn't you genuinely care for that person by investing in a license in their state so that you are the person that they trusted, they came to,
they
that you
do.
can
I'm
help?
still meeting with them.
So
It's
you're doing work and letting somebody else make the commission? I'm just trying to understand your logic
Yeah,
here.
if you'll let me, yeah, to speak on that, that's kind of why I was even talking about it, because there are scenarios like that where it's like you're a hop, skip, and a jump. Like it's seriously 15 minutes from where I live, and he didn't realize that he didn't have property in Missouri. He's Illinois. So I did the legwork on it, but I reached out and said, does anyone else have a license in Illinois? Because I can't give him legally life insurance. I can't provide that for him, but I
You
can.
you can go onto nipr.com and get a license in Illinois,
Right,
and
but
that
you have
application would have paid for that license, and then being on the border within
wait,
15 minutes. I guess I'm just not understanding because you're running a business right now, not a
but can
501c3.
you slow down just a little?
I sure
Because
can.
I'm only, a month in. I do not have the finances at this point to justify paying for that license.
But you just missed what I just said, Marguerite, and I'm
But
not going to cut you off. No, 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 no. I need you to hear what you're saying, honey, because if you wrote that app, it would pay for that license.
I'm
That app would
writing.
pay for that license, and then you would be able to service all that business and expand your reach. And I want to help you stay here more than a month. And you can't stay here more than a month if you can't see the bigger vision of
I've already.
expanding that. Does that make sense for you?
No, that absolutely makes sense. I think you're missing my original point, which
I'm
is about,
sorry. I am very much missing the point.
which was a more sentimental point. No, I've already closed on policy here. Like in 1 week, I made 15 calls and closed a policy. So
That's
this.
amazing.
Thank you. So as far as that is like, it was more to the sentiment of we all work together. So I appreciate like that input very much. So if there is something that I'm missing there where I could, because I already started writing the application, I want to make sure that the people that I am insuring are clear and that ethically it's correct. So if you want to
Yeah.
look that back and communicate that with me again, if there
Yeah,
is
so let's do
something.
this. So nipr.com,
Okay.
okay? You apply for a license in Illinois. It is very expensive. It's going to be intimidating because you're a new agent,
So
right?
this is what I was trying to say to you. This is the
Mhm.
only point that's important, so you don't have to waste your breath. I
Okay.
do not have the capital after shifting
Mhm.
careers to get myself licensed in Illinois.
I know, I know. So
But it's okay.
can
But
I
like
help you with that though? Can I help you with that? I'm not trying to, Marguerite, there's so many new people that have that same mindset. And so I really want to work through this with
it's
you.
not a mindset, it's an
It's
accurate
a
fact.
resources. I understand. I get it
All
completely.
right. Yep.
Thanks. I think we're digressing.
I'm gonna put this one down. This
Go
isn't
ahead,
gonna
Jim.
go anywhere.
Thank you.
Marguerite, we wish you the
No,
best.
no, that's not what the conversation was. All good. All good. I'll hop back.
All right. Moving on here. So we got Violet Walters jumped into our group, Nikki. She doesn't have many people ready to take this on, but she's putting her numbers in. She's tracking a little more than we are, but she wanted to get some eyes on this. So,
Yeah.
and she's doing more. She's talking about lead. She's got lead spend in here. Dials contact. She's tracking warm market reach out. She's tracking a lot. Yesterday, Violet, 4 apps for 4,100. I'll take that all day on a couple appointments. So multiple apps per appointment. Love to see that. Putting you in a great spot for your goal. I mean, we want to be halfway through the month is the end of this week. So you want to be 7,500 to be on pace. That yesterday puts you well in striking distance and in a good spot. You need one or two more apps here to pull that off.
And she's so good at this business at this stage in the game. And this is really nice to see, Violet.
Yeah, really, really great. Molly, Nikki, don't forget Katie. Did we forget Katie?
We did a little bit. That's okay. So Katie is 160 dials for the week and 14 contacts. I haven't talked to her yet this week. We talked a little bit last week. And so I don't know kind of where she's at with things, but I will touch base and kind of see where we're at. I know her target for dials was to make sure she's at that 300 floor at the minimum, but I would obviously love to see her get a couple more wins underneath her belt.
Yep.
Go ahead. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. Molly, my only comment yesterday when you weren't here, Nikki, was just
Don't let Nikki see that.
almost nothing we can do with the small numbers. I mean, there just has to be more input before we can offer any input on it.
I agree.
Kurt got an app yesterday. It was his first one in a little bit. So my challenge always is to stack practices. And this was my football coach thing, right? And it was just a matter of, can I trust you on Friday night? So I'd have a good practice on Monday, and he'd want me to have a good practice on Tuesday and a good one on Wednesday. But if I'm like hit or miss, like I'm showing up sometimes, not showing up others, he didn't know which version of me he was going to get on Friday night. And so he couldn't risk putting me in unless I built consistency. And so that's really always my challenge for people is stack your wins. If you do 300 dials and that's your first time and that's a big deal for you, do it again. Don't go from I did 300 dials as my max that I've ever done down back to 180. Stack it. Start showing up consistently. Olive, big dials last week, smaller ones this week. Don't know if she's going to backlog effort here, but we got a couple days in, smaller dial numbers. Got an app yesterday. Love to see that. Sat with one, closed one, and Wi-Fi went down yesterday. Womp womp. Technology's fun when it works. Anything you want to say on this crew, Nikki?
Just the how do I want to frame the words? Because I'm a little rattled right now. Consistency is going to win in this business more than porpoising. So having a 500 dial week followed by a 100 dial week, followed by a 400 dial week, followed by a 70 dial week, I would so much rather have somebody consistently be at 300 dials no matter what every week than 500 and 100. It's going to create a better pace for you. And I'm seeing a lot of really big week ones. And granted, we're only on Tuesday. So, but for me, when I look at Tuesday, for me, Tuesday is halfway through the week because Wednesdays for me, when I was in the field hard, were kind of trash with the national call and all the other things that happen inside of a day. That wasn't a really strong production day for me. So by Tuesday, if you don't have your numbers in the bag, now you're backpedaling. I would just say if you can set up your week so that you are more consistent, and that is really just for me looking at it, it's a scheduling thing, right? Like making sure that there's consistent hours every week over week to work your business.
Yep. Good stuff. All right, JT. Got in some dials yesterday, been consistent on the phones daily, talked to 8 people, set 4 appointments. I love that. Ran 3. So we're in this like closing thing right now. People are coming to the table and it ain't landing. So we're gonna deep dive into fixing that and making sure we're not struggling with that moving to next week and beyond. Any idea, JT, on what's going on with it?
Sure. I have several that just have issues that they have to deal with before we can write the policies. I had a great prezzo last night. Probably going to write 4 policies for this family, but he's paying off some debt this month, so we can't do it till March. And that'll free up the cash to do everything he wanted to do. I've had several things like that this last couple weeks, just driving me nuts. Just timing on the client's part, not stuff that isn't going to close. And some of these, I know, Nikki, you were on it last week. The ratio of showing was horrible last week, and literally it was reschedules. People had stuff come up, like literally while I've been on the phone right now, I've got 4 policies I'm going to write with a client today that I was supposed to write at 10 o'clock. He just sent me a message. I have a work appointment. Can we do it this afternoon? So that got pushed out to this afternoon. So just nothing that I can control or at least that I know how to control. Maybe there is a way, but I'm pretty good at trying to nail that down and make sure it's a solid time frame. That's what I'm up against right now, but we will get through it.
All right. And Christine, no stranger to big dial numbers. Talk to 5 people, set an appointment. We just got to get to that next phase. You know this. Susan, I like the 101. Do 1 more. In the game there, talk to 8 people, set 3 appointments. All right. Haven't run any of those yet. Marcy, out of the office so far this week. Cassidy, saw Cassidy in the Mac room yesterday doing some dials. 77 total for the week. Talked to 13 people, set 7 appointments. I love that ratio. 3 have already showed. Just don't have anything this week to show for it. So we want to tighten that close ratio for sure. Shannon with some dials this week. Talked to 7 people, set 3 appointments. Ruben, big dials last week. Ruben showed up with 566. I want you to stack practices, man. I want you to get that weeks in a row and not have this sawtooth thing where it's big, small, big, small, big, small. Start stacking some stuff. Nikki, what do you see here?
Same as the last page, right? Huge numbers
Yep.
in week one and deflated numbers in week two. And again, trying to give it a grain of salt here. But if you, Jim, I'm trying to be nice about it. If you're not working Saturdays, I guess my question is why? It took me, 3.5 years to earn my way out of a weekend. But they are the biggest ROI for your business. And so we have to start looking at insurance as 7 days a week and not a 9 to 5. And so I would so much rather um, have days where I maybe like I take my yoga class on a Thursday or I do something for myself midweek or I kind of align my schedule to allow for that breathing room that you need and then work on a Saturday morning, then try to fit everything between 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, which is not going to actually produce the outcomes you're looking for anyway. So I guess just my push for everybody that is not earning at a 5 figure a month consistently. Saturdays are not something you've earned your way out of. And I used to hate it when leaders said that to me because it felt very, I don't know, unkind, like you didn't earn your way to that yet. But that's your biggest investment day. So when I see coming out of the weekend, no numbers at all, I'm kind of like, "Ooh." I'm trying to be
Yeah.
nice about it.
Well, and here's the way I would be nice about it, Nikki, is it's just what your goals ask of you. Just
Yeah.
make it that simple. Like, it's not me telling you you need to work Saturday. You don't have bosses or judges here. The only thing you're accountable to, the only thing, even in this accountability group, you're not even here being accountable to me and Nikki. You're not here being accountable to each other. The only thing you are ever accountable for are your goals. That's the only thing. And so the last thing I want as a mentor and a leader is for you to get months and years into this business not hitting your goals because you had some non-negotiable things you were unwilling to sacrifice that were less important than your goals. That's the only stuff I want you lining up against. Is the sanctity of Saturday more important than keeping your goal if you can make progress on your goal by sacrificing it? That's the only thing you're accountable to.
Well, and
So
it's not even that big of a sacrifice, Jim. Like, I mean, it's not, it's 9 to 11, 9 to 12, 10 to 12, 10 to 1. Like, what are you sacrificing? What are you sacrificing? Like Fruit Loops in your pajamas? What are we talking about, really? I'm not saying work a 12-hour day. That's not, but 2 hours in the morning is going to change the pattern of your week. So there's that. And somebody said something about Valentine's Day. If you're on one of the platforms like Funnel or Switchboard, I don't even know what platform we use anymore, Funnel. And I would send out a funny little meme about like, Valentine's, and I hope your Valentine loves you enough to make sure that, you can stay in your house if they kick the bucket. Like send out something funny on Valentine's Day and watch the text messages for the leads that haven't responded to you come in. If you're not leveraging funny texts or holiday texts in general, and you're on a platform that you can do a drip campaign, like you're not living. Taisha knows what I'm talking about.
yeah. All
Jordan
right.
Allen with 21 dials. Jim, I can't. He's too good at this business to do 21 dials. I don't want to hear it.
Look at his conversion ratios.
I don't care.
Though.
I don't care. He's too good at it to do 21 dials. My God, I sat in my car and played Pokemon for longer than that this morning. Goodness gracious. Jordan, you're hurting my heart. Just do more. That's all I'm going to say. You're so good at this freaking business. You wrote $4,000 on like 4 hours worth of effort in the field. It's just stupid. Again, if I could be that level of a ninja, and I'm really good at this business, no ego in there. If I could be that good, man, I would just literally not leave my office. But there's probably addictive personality tendencies in there too. Corinne, great week so far in terms of dial count. It looks
Yeah.
like we sat in front of two people and didn't come out with our win. Maybe there's some more appointments in the bag, but I'm not mad at what I'm seeing coming into a Tuesday.
Nope. Nope. It's definitely it's good effort. The contacts to appointments set are great. Probably some appointments set that haven't run yet. So just keeping an eye on that, but I like the output. Anna Allison, up dial numbers with a good dial day on Saturday. Talked to 6 people, set 3 appointments. Got to get some of those to start coming around here. And then Trinity,
This
85
is not
dials.
normal for her.
What's that?
That's not normal for her. 85 dials on a Tuesday.
No, she dialed Saturday, didn't Sunday. Yesterday, she somehow talked to 4 people and set an appointment. I don't see dial numbers there, but she did run a couple and got a good app in.
Yeah.
So she's going to be halfway to her goal by the end of this week.
She's halfway there now. Well, yeah, I guess what, 8,500, we're almost
80.
there. Yeah, we'll call it. We'll call it. I
We'll
like
call
what
it
I'm seeing,
halfway.
but 525 to last week to 85 to this week. And I would say you don't want to play that yo-yo game here. Just stay consistent and come into week 4 with your money locked and loaded. I meant to say your month locked and loaded, but both are applicable.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. That's what you got. That's what we got for you guys. I'm in the
That's
Mac
all we
room.
got.
We got top producer call. If you're part of the Mac room, guys, as I highly recommend being, we're doing a virtual powerhouse next week. And so we've got a schedule of dial sessions and live dialers, and we want to see just how much work and results we can deliver in a 3-day period of time. So this is where we want the people who are used to winning showing up and showing off, and where we want those of you who are not yet used to winning proving to yourself that you can do more and show up bigger than you have been previously. So talk to your AO about getting involved. Those of you on my group, Sarah is through our automated text system sending out the sign up sheets to put your hand up and say you want to participate in the virtual powerhouse. It is going to be awesome. I cannot wait for it. Do I have a couple more minutes? I'm going to take a couple more minutes. Okay, just want to address our painful conversation earlier real quick. I love a heart and a culture that wants to help. I really do. So many people, when I'm running interviews and I'm like, hey, what brings you to life insurance sales? And they're like, I really want to help people. Guys, every business in the world helps people. The only like people trade money to solve problems, period. So every business in the world exists to solve problems. So you can make an argument for any business that you're in it to help people, because the business fundamentally exists to solve problems. You didn't come here to help people. You came here to build a business, and you came here to make money. I love what I do. I really genuinely do. If I was not making money doing it, though, I would be doing something else. And so you always want to run through the filter of the decisions you make. Is this a business decision that is helping my goals? Is it a business decision? I'm all for charity. I'm all for being kind. I'm all for giving. I'm all for spreading the love. That stuff is great, but I have one job, and that job is to feed my family. I've got one goal, and that's to honor the integrity of the reason I signed up. If I'm pouring and sacrificing my time, effort, energy, and money, taking away from my family, time, effort, energy, money, and attention from my family to build a business, my family better see an ROI on that investment. And if I'm giving out the ROI, I'm taking from my family, maybe without their permission, and giving to others. And that's a conversation you got to have with your spouse. You got to have with your kids. You got to have with your integrity. You got to have with your goals. There's a lot there. So I love a heart of wanting to help. I more so love people honoring their integrity of the goals for which they set out to achieve, and achieving those things, and letting charity be the overflow of the storehouse you've built, rather than charity being a credit that you're now indebted for. Go build your storehouse. Out of your storehouse, be as generous as you want to be. All right. That's what I got for y'all today.
Jim, on that note, for anybody that doesn't understand how that could have looked different, since I didn't get to finish the sentence. Okay. Those of you that are new that don't understand that your license is reciprocal, let me tell you right now, your license is reciprocal. Once you have your state resident license, you can pick up a license in any other state in the United States, hard stop. You go to nipr.com, okay? You apply for a license. It usually processes in less than 2 hours. Your first time doing it, it might take 24. So within one business day, you will have that license in hand. Some licenses are scary expensive. You own a business. Put it on a credit card, write the app, pay the credit card off. Your lead that you got, that you wrote the business on, will pay for that license. So don't ever be afraid to invest in your business by expanding your reach and your market. It is a very simple process, but we have to go from that mindset of poverty mindset to abundance. And if you're struggling with that, is it the Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, Jim? Is that the one that Pogue made me recommend?
I don't remember which one. There's a
Okay. I
million
think
different books on it.
that would be the place that I would start. If you feel like you're coming from a space of I can't afford this now, that would be the first book that I would tackle. All right, you guys,
And
sorry.
I have straight up met with people, run the appointment, got full on agreement on exactly what they were going to do, and then asked to meet again in 48 hours to write the application so that I could justify buying the license because I knew I had business lined up. So I didn't even just go get the license ahead of time and hope I would close it. I closed it first and then asked to reconvene. And in every case, by the time, if I've run that appointment well and I've built rapport and I've solved the problem and it's obvious and evident, nobody's ever not shown back up and not offered me the grace to go tie up the ends that I've needed to tie up to justify doing it. All right. So we got for you guys. We'll talk soon. Bye.